very elated and he pays him 200 rupees and he buys a cloth. But we know it is cheating, but the tribe is very happy. That tribal person is very happy because he managed to bargain the price from 100 rupees to 50 rupees, and in fact he's paying twice of it and he's still getting cheated. Okay, so like this, in very, very simple things, people have gone and given them bicycles or some food articles, so they'll be very, very innocent. Okay, so like this, many, many, many ways they have cheated the tribal population and they have acquired the land of the tribes. Again, there is also this concept of peasantization and depeasantization. Peasantization. So initially the rulers, example like Jahangir, he used to actually ask the tribal people to clear the forest and start agriculture. So these people who were once living inside the forest, they became settled agriculture. They started clearing the forest, they started doing agriculture, and they became full-time peasants. This is called as peasantization. However, when this land which they own and they have been doing agriculture since long time, they lose it in the form of land alienation, either due to various reasons, due to fraudsters or money lenders or other tribal population or non-tribal population, or due to forest loss or due to multi-purpose projects. Be it for whatever reasons, they lose their own land. That is called as depeasantization. That is, they are losing their land and they move to other people's land to work as laborers. This is called as depeasantization. Did you understand what's the meaning of peasantization and depeasantization? So initially, when the tribal population, they clear the forest and they start doing agriculture and they become peasants, that is called as peasantization. It is said that even Jahangir encouraged the tribes to clear the forest and start agriculture in the Terai region. You know what is meaning of Terai region, right? Fine. So that is called as peasantization. But when the peasants or the tribes who have become peasants, they lose the control or they lose their land due to various reasons, and they become that's what they lose the land either due to fraudsters or non-tribals acquiring their land, or because of multi-purpose projects, or due to forest loss. For whatever reason, when they lose the land which they have been acquiring and they move on with other activities or they become laborers, then that process is called as depeasantization. Now we shall take a 5 minutes break and get back. So we shall continue with the problem of land alienation. So it is said that nearly 88% of the scheduled tribes are engaged in agriculture, and the tribals have a great emotional attachment to their lands because agriculture is the only source of livelihood for many of them since several centuries. That is true. When we discussed rural studies, I told you how a farmer is so much emotionally attached to his land, isn't it? His land is everything. It is what it gives him food, and with that food grains which he is going to raise, he is going to make his livelihood. So his entire life revolves around that. So that is his primary source of income, and he has a lot of emotional attachment to that. Similarly, for a tribal person, land and forest is very, very important because he has a lot of emotional attachments with it. So from that land only he will do agriculture. His ancestors from several generations have been living over there. He has his myths associated with the forest. He has his religion which is associated with the forest. He believed that some rock or some tree over there has mana. He believed that he traces his origin to some tree or some animals inside the forest. So like this, land has very much emotional value for a tribal person, and losing his land is very, very painful for him. So this is what is happening in land alienation. So there are various reasons, as I already told you, for land alienation. Sometimes what happens is there is large number of population who are dependent on shifting cultivation, and when the government puts a ban on shifting cultivation, that also becomes a reason for the tribe to lose its land. Okay, so it is not just the forest laws or the developmental projects or the cheating done by the outsiders, money lenders, contractors, or losing the land to money lenders or other outsiders or tribals or non-tribals. In addition to this, the ban on shifting cultivation is also one of the reasons. So, what is shifting cultivation? Shifting cultivation means a patch of the forest will be cleared. Say prior to the summer, during the summer season, a patch of the forest will be cleared and all the logs of wood will be allowed to dry. Then it will be set on fire. So when it is set on fire, it will burn and all the ashes will act as a natural manure in the soil. That all the ashes of the burnt trees will act as a natural manure to the soil, and when with the advent of the monsoon season, they will just sprinkle or they will just throw some seeds over the land. They will not do any proper practices like tilling or removal of weeds or addition of fertilizers, pesticides, nothing. Once they will clear the forest, they will cut all the trees during the summertime, they will allow it to dry and they will set it on fire, and the burnt trees, the ashes from the burnt trees will act as a manure for the soil. And then later they will before the rainy season, before the monsoon season, they will just throw some grains over the soil, over that land, and because of rains, the seeds will germinate and they will grow into crops. Along with this, like modern agriculture, they do not do any activities like removal of weeds or transplantation of the crop or adding more fertilizers, pesticides, or doing tilling, proper tilling, proper tilling using implements, nothing. They use very simple implements like a sickle. Okay, very simple implements they will use, and they will just do this. Then with because of rains, the seeds will germinate and the plants or the crops will grow. Then when it is time for harvest, they will harvest the crops. So they continue this cycle for 3 or 4 years in the same patch of land. So after 3 or 4 years, what will happen is the soil will lose its fertility. Obviously, isn't it? Because they have not added any fertilizers or any NPK or anything like that. So the soil loses its fertility, and now even if they grow the food grains, it will be the produce would be very less. So as a result, what they will do, they will abandon that piece of land and they will move to a new stretch of land. Now again they will clear another new fresh piece of forest and they will start the cycle, repeat the cycle all over again. So this process is called as shifting cultivation. So when the government put a ban on shifting cultivation, why did the government ban shifting cultivation? Because it is leading to deterioration of land, isn't it? Large amount of forest is there, it is leading to deforestation. Large vast stretches of forest is being lost, which is the green cover, and it is very important for the environment, isn't it? So because of this, the government put a ban on the forest, and it is not just the forest which is getting degraded or deforestation of the forest. There are various other animals, plants, flowers, all of them which are associated with that, and it leads to it leads to imbalance in the ecological functioning, isn't it? So we all know about the food cycle and all the cycle. So once you clear the forest, all the animals or other plants, birds which are living in that, they also lose their living over there, and it leads to disturbance. It leads to a disturbance in the ecological balance and food cycle and everything. Okay, and also if few people do this, still it is manageable. But when large number of people are practicing shifting cultivation, it leads to deforestation of huge stretches of forest, which is very very bad to the environment. As a result, in many places shifting cultivation has been banned. So even when this happens, the tribes will lose their land. That is also called as land alienation. So there are various reasons. Many reasons are due to money lenders who have given money to the tribes during the time of need, and when the tribes are unable to repay that, they acquire their land. So a person who acquired land and who was doing agriculture now is reduced to a mere laborer who works in other people's fields. So this is a very important problem of land alienation. In addition to that, earlier the tribes were isolated. They were living in deep jungles, forests, isolated regions, and they did not have any culture contact with outsiders. But later, with the advent of improvement, not the advent, with the improvement in communication and transportation facilities, improvement in roads, rails, and all these networks, other people, outsiders like the contractors, middlemen, money lenders, all these people started venturing into the tribal areas, and they identified that the tribal population are not capable, or they do not have the functional literacy like the outsiders, and they started cheating them in various ways to acquire their land. So that is also one reason of land alienation. So many a times the money lenders give them money for various reasons. As I already told you, suppose there is a death in there's a tribal hamlet and there's a death of one person over there, they will have to conduct lot of elaborate rituals for that. Or if there is a marriage, or if it is a cropping season and they do not even have any food grains to start the agricultural activity for that year. So for all these purposes, because the tribes are not educated, they cannot go to credit cooperative societies or any government financial institutions and borrow money from there. Instead, the money lenders are there at their own place, and anytime they ask them for money, they will just take a thumbprint and they will give them enough of money. So the money lender is the first person who, and again, imagine taking money from cooperative societies or banks is such a tedious task, isn't it? You'll have to know, you have to take up forms, you have to fill them, you have to give supportive documents, and then further the loan will get sanctioned after few days. But here the tribe has need for money immediately, instantly. Say a member in his family is sick. He cannot go apply for a loan and wait for the loan to get sanctioned. After 1 month, by then his family member would be dead. Isn't it? So like this, for various needs, be it to feed his cattle, or suppose if cattle become sick, or any other reasons, we know, instant day to day, many needs will arise. So for all this, it is the money lender who provides them instant money, and so they will take debt from the money lenders at very high interest rates. Okay, even in urban areas you can find this. People give debts to these street vendors. Okay, you must have noticed street vendors selling vegetables, flowers, fruits, and other articles on the streets. They move from street to street selling their produce. They start shouting, so tomato for 80 rupees, tomato for 100 rupees, or onion for so many rupees, like that. So if you ask any of them how do they manage, or how do they make their business and everything, they'll tell you what these people do is they will have only their cart on their own, or sometimes even the cart which they're using to sell won't be their own. So every morning what they will do is they will go to the market, they will take that cart on rent, say some 500 rupees or 300, 200 rupees. They will take it for rent for a single day, and then they will also take debt for the products which they're going to buy. Say there's a person who is going to sell tomatoes. So he will take some 1000 rupees or 5000 rupees debt from the money lender. Okay, then he will fill his cart with the tomatoes, and he also takes that cart also on rent. For a single day, he'll pay some 300 to 500 rupees, and then he will buy all this at an interest rate of 3 to 5% or even more. Many times it is even more. So what they will do is, in the morning they will borrow money, they will take the cart for rent, they will buy the tomatoes or vegetables, whatever, or again with that money, and from morning till evening they go around from street to street and they sell it, and with whatever profit or whatever money they make in that day, by evening or night when they return, they have to go and pay that person who gave them the money in the morning, that's the money lender. They have to pay not just the principal amount which he borrowed, say he borrowed some 5000 rupees. In addition to that, at whatever rate interest he bought it, he has to pay that interest also, and again he has to pay the rent for the cart also. So imagine at the end of the day, for all the hard work and labor that he did, walking from street to street, shouting and selling the products, bargaining with people and selling the products, hardly will be left with few hundreds for that day, which will be sufficient just for his dinner and to go to bed, isn't it? So like this only, even the tribes also, they will be in need of money, so for various purposes, and it is the money lender who are at the spot and who are willing to give them the money. So ultimately they will take money at very high interest rates, they are unable to pay the interest, and they do not know how much they are borrowing and what is the worth of their land, or just they want money, they will put the thumbprint and they will take it, and over a period of time the land will be grabbed by the money lenders. So like that they will take it away. So there has been this case of Korwa tribes in Madhya Pradesh. Korwa of Madhya Pradesh and Tharu and Boksa of Tarai region. So the Korwas of Madhya Pradesh and the Tharu and Boksai of Tarai region of UP. Tharu and Boksai of Tarai region of UP, it is said that these people are the worst victims of money lenders. Okay, so these people have been the worst victims of money lenders. So what happened was, this entire region was surrounded by money lenders called as Mia. These were the money lenders. So these people, the Korwas and the Tharus and Boksas, they used to take debts from this Mians very frequently for various reasons, and over a period of time, all the land which were, majority of the land which were acquired, which originally belonged to the Korwas and the Tharus and Boksas in the UP, in the Korwas in MP region and the Tharu and Boksa in UP region, were finally acquired by these Mia moneylenders. Okay, in addition to this, addiction to locally brewed liquor is also one of the important reasons. Okay, so you know that in tribes, they have the culture of consuming liquor on a day-to-day basis. So what they will do is, they will take some food grains and they will make liquor, homemade liquor. Okay, so they will have a pot over which they collect the they make liquor out of food grains. Do you know, even we can make out of tender coconut, toddy. So during COVID, one of my friend taught me how to make toddy at home. So what she did was, she bought some 10 or 15 tender coconuts. She collected the coconut water from all the tender coconuts, and there is some microorganism, I don't know which one that exactly is. So what she did was, because during COVID and lockdown, people did not have any other alternate activities, and they were curious to do many new things. So she also tried to make toddy, and it turned out successful. Okay, so even you can try that. There are various YouTube videos. Even I didn't understand. So initially when she offered me toddy, I was like, what is this? How can you make toddy at home? You can only get it in the rural side, that too near the coconut trees. They collect. Actually, how toddy is made? Do you know how toddy is made? So this is how they make it. So this they make toddy with coconut trees also, and majorly with palm trees. Okay, so there will be this palm. You'll see. You'll have the palm tree. I'm sure you all must have heard about toddy, isn't it? In local language, in Kannada, I think they call it Neera. Okay, in Kannada they call it as Neera, but I don't know how they call it in other languages. So how toddy is made is, it is the sap. So in palm trees and in coconut trees, there are particular communities which are professional in doing this occupation. So what they will do is, late evening they will climb the tree and they will make a cut in particular stem. Okay, in a particular stem, they know exactly how to do that. They will cut it such that the sap oozes out of the stem. So drop by drop, that sap will keep oozing out. So at this place, they will tie a small matka. Okay, matka, pot, right? They will tie a pot over here and fix that with the tree. So the coconut sap, the sap from the tree, be it a coconut tree or palm tree, majorly it is done in palm tree, but in coconut tree also they do that. So that sap will keep coming out from the stem of the tree in drops, one drop, it keeps coming like that. So they leave it like that. So entire night it gets collected in that pot, and next day early morning they will go and retrieve it from the tree. So they will climb and take out the pot. By then the entire pot would have got collected. So the sap from the tree would have filled the pot. And what now they will do is, it is actually said that if you consume that collected sap in the early morning, it is very beneficial for health. It is very good energizing tonic for the health, and it is very good also. But people do not consume it immediately. What they will do is, they will keep it, they will tie a cloth over it, and they will keep it for 1 or 2 days so that it gets fermented. And when it gets fermented, it becomes liquor. Okay, so this is called as toddy. Okay, so immediately in the morning when you collect it, and if you drink it, that is not toddy. It is just coconut sap or palm sap. But when you allow it to ferment for 2 to 3 days, and it becomes, after fermentation, it becomes alcohol or liquor, and then when you drink it, you get you get the kick. Okay, so one of my friend said she made toddy at home during this COVID lockdown. I was surprised. So I asked her, how did you make that? She said, it's very easy. There are a lot of YouTube videos. I watched one of them and made it. Then I asked her the procedure. She said that you collect some, depending on how much quantity you want, you just collect all the tender coconut water from 10 or 15 coconuts. And then there is some bacterium which is available on Amazon. So you can order that bacterium. And you collect all the water from the coconuts. You just grind it once in the mixer or something. And then you put it into a huge matka which you have at home. You put that bacterium and you close it with a cloth and tie it and leave it for 2-3 days. After 2-3 days, automatically it becomes toddy. Okay, so like this, tribes do not do this, but actually the tribes also have a method of making liquor out of food grains. So they have the traditional methods using which they'll boil the food grains and they make homemade liquor, and it is common culture for them to consume this homemade liquor every day. But what these moneylenders did was they prohibited these tribal population from making homemade liquor, and they made them addicted to outside liquor which is sold in the shops. So what will happen? As it is, they have very little income. So whatever they earn that day, they will use it for their food and for the liquor. And next day, if they do not have a job, still they need to drink. They become addicted to that. So they will keep, borrowing money from the moneylenders again and again. And over a period of time, they will lose their land to the moneylenders. So this is also one of the reason: addiction to liquor. Okay, addiction to locally brewed liquor. That is also one of the reason. And they also make liquor with maua. You know maua, right? Maua drink. So in that INA, that Delhi Hath, in Delhi Hath, I saw how they make maua liquor also. However, I didn't taste it, but I'll tell you sometime, while in the course of discussion of tribal studies, I'll tell you how maua liquor is also made. I think mostly it is yeast which is used. So the yeast which we buy to make bread and bread buns and all those bakery products at home. So if any of you all are into baking, you must know we get yeast in bakeries and other supermarkets to make bread and all these things. So I think yeast also, there's certain quantity which you need to add into that for fermentation. So then toddy will be ready. Okay, so how many of you have tried making wine at home? Let me know. Okay, you can make wine at home, you can make toddy. I'm not sure about other drinks. So I had in my MSc fourth semester, I guess, in the fourth semester of MSc, we had a project of making wine. So our entire class, we did that project in our college itself, not at home. So we bought a lot of fruits. We didn't make wine only with grapes, like how in most Christian families, you can see that now that December is approaching. So prior to December 25th, that is Christmas, they will buy a lot of grapes, they will grind it, they will extract the juice, and they will ferment it so that by Christmas, wine is ready. But what we did in college was, we took, as per our project, we had certain measurements. We took various fruits, apple, oranges, pineapple, grapes, green grapes, black grapes, and many citrus fruits, not banana and all. Most of these apple, grapes, pineapple, all these citrus fruits, oranges, 3-4 kinds of grapes, all these we took it and we ground, we made a juice out of that. We extracted the juice and we also fermented it in a dark place in our laboratory itself for 1 month. And the end product was, some people tasted and they said it was very, very tasty. Okay, so like this, I think many of you all might have also tried making wine or toddy at home. If not toddy, at least I think many of you all would have tried making wine. Okay. So the Tharo and the Buksa tribes. For this Tharo and the Buksa tribes, it was the Punjabi refugee moneylenders. So what these people did was, in that Terai region was highly inhospitable. That is, it was infested with mosquitoes and very poisonous insects that other people could not clear the forest, they could not live over there. But these people, that is Tharo and Buksai, because they are tribal people who have been living traditionally in forest, they were resistant to all these mosquitoes and other insects. As a result, what these people did was they managed to clear the forest in the Tarai region and they started doing agriculture. But later what happened, these Punjabi refugee moneylenders who came from there, they started lending money in enormous amounts to all these people for various needs. And now later what happened, most of these tribes belonging to Tharu and Buksa, they lost their land to these Punjabi refugee moneylenders. So these two people, that is the Korwas of MP and the Tharu and the Buksa. So the Korwas lost it to the Mians, and the Tharu and the Buksai tribes with great difficulty they cleared the forest in the Tarai region. So in the Tarai region, it is a swampy and marshy forest which was infested with lot of mosquitoes. As a result, the outsiders could not even think about clearing those forests or venturing over there. But these tribal tribal people, they managed to clear the forest and they managed to do agriculture over there. However, because of money lending, they lost all their lands to these Punjabi money lending refugee people. Okay, so these two are the worst hit people because of land alienation. So what are the remedial steps which are taken to prevent land alienation? That is, to protect or to prevent the loss of land of the tribal people. There are various remedial measures that have been taken. First and foremost, we need to understand that we need to give certain basic education to the tribes about what is land, what is law, what is the little bit about numerical literacy, what is money lending, like if they borrow money, at what rates they are going to take it, so what is the interest rate, so if suppose 5% interest or 2% or 3% interest, so according to the principal amount, what is the interest amount, so how much they'll have to pay for every month, and at for how many years they have to pay. Many times what happens is the tribes will be repaying the money and the interest every month, and then even after several years, the money lenders will tell, no, you have only paid the interest and you have not given us the principal amount, and so I will be acquiring your land. So many things like this happen because they do not have literacy. So we have to give them at least basic education about what is numbers, what is land, and they have also laws which can protect them. So many people do not have any awareness about this, isn't it? That suppose somebody cheats them, that they have the laws, they have the judiciary in our country whom they can approach and they can resolve the issues. They do not have any such knowledge also. So we have to give them basic education about laws, financial literacy, okay, how to calculate interest rates, what is principal, what is interest, what is simple interest, compound interest. So like this, we have to give them a lot of knowledge about that. Then there are various NGOs also, that is non-governmental organizations, who protect the tribes against exploitation by moneylenders. Then there are various, even state government should prevent the transfer of land by maintaining proper land records. So several times what happens is, the tribal population will be evicted from the forest and they will be given some land. So they will be given a colony with houses, one house for each individual family, and they will be given some 2 acres or 5 acres of agricultural land which they can do agriculture and survive. But many a times, though the land is given, they do not have a proper patta. You understand what's the meaning of patta, right? Patta, land records, nothing. So just they do not even know where their land is and which part of it belongs to them, nothing like that. So proper land records are not maintained. So the government has to take steps to maintain proper land records and to prevent the transfer of land from a tribal to a non-tribal. Okay, so, like this, there are various acts also taken in this measure, to protect the transfer of tribal land to non-tribal. There are various acts that has been present, that like the Andhra Pradesh Scheduled Area Land Transfer Regulation Act 1959, Madhya Pradesh Land Revenue Code, Bombay Tenancy and Agricultural Land Reforms Act, then Rajasthan Tenancy Act. So like that, there are various steps which the government has taken to prevent moneylenders grabbing the land from the tribes, and also to protect the tribal rights over the land by enacting various laws. In addition to that, various NGOs are also taking active participation in helping the tribals know about the land and also to educate them. So these are the various remedial measures which we can take to prevent land alienation. Fine.